All right, folks, it's now official. There is a main event in line. WrestleMania Night 1. Actually, we know both WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2, the main events are set. We are excited. Smackdown. And all I have to say is this. Throw your ones up because the OTC continues to prove my point of him being the true Mr. WrestleMania. Coming up on Break It Down with Brian H., I talk about Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, headlining Night 1 of WrestleMania, and so much more.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. Make sure you click the link and stuff in the bio. You can get this shirt and all kinds of other cool merchandise. Look, I'm going to tell y'all, it's been a busy week. I dropped a lot of content this week. Y'all know it's WrestleMania season, so y'all know that's when I turn up a notch. I wrote out 20 matches that you should show new wrestling fans. So check that out on our Patreon, absolutely free. I dropped my WrestleMania tiers list where I go through all 1 through 40 and rank them, I do a tier, whether they were great, whether they were terrible, or in between. And of course, we had the Wrestling Realm Now podcast this week. Now, I noticed something on the calendar, so y'all gonna hear it first before it hits social media. Y'all don't want to miss this Wednesday's episode. You know why? Because it's the real Dwayne Allen's birthday. Actually, yeah, it's his birthday, so who knows what kind of shenanigans we got planned. But right now, folks, Smackdown, amazing episode, I should say. Amazing closer. We got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, the official contract signing. And let me tell you, I'm excited. I'm glad we got it out the way. It will main event the show. Let's be real. There's no other matches that should really main event over this. Yes, we love everything going on with the women's match with Bianca, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. We love Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Jey Uso, we know he's main event Jey Uso, but Jey Uso and Gunther, not really a main event when you got Roman, Rollins, and Punk right there. I mean, do you really want another Hogan Rock situation? I mean, I just went back and rewatched WrestleMania 18. Kind of feels like the show goes after that. And it's a couple WrestleManias like that. But this right here, it is the most important story because it's so layered. It goes back to when CM Punk was with the Shield and he brought in Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, then Dean Ambrose, and tried to deny it. But here's the thing. This is what's exciting, right? When you look at the story of this match, I love the fact that Seth Rollins, he talks about, we did this and we did that. And Roman says, no, it was me. And it was kind of that big brother, little brother, but it was Roman Reigns saying, look, I took this company to new heights. Because no longer was I the big dog anymore. I was the tribal chief. I had bigger business because if you watch this documentary, he said he had to make a change. Whether he was going to be one of the boys or was he going to be a megastar. The megastar, Roman Reigns, is the reason why WWE is on Netflix. And that's the message he was getting across to Seth freaking Rollins. Now, what I loved about Rollins is him going back and forth and telling him, you allowed this. You allowed CM Punk to be in this situation because you shook his hands and had him a part of War Games. So I thought that was interesting. I loved how they mentioned the main event. Like, I love the fact that they said it right there. It was on a contract. You got to see CM Punk have a moment. We all know this is something he's been chasing. Ironically, it was Roman Reigns' cousin, The Rock, who prevented him from main event in WrestleMania, you could say twice, dare say, yeah, WrestleMania 29 should have been a triple threat match between Punk, Rock, and John Cena. It wasn't. But now, you're not going to convince me that WrestleMania 28, the main event, should have been Jericho Punk, because it absolutely should not have. Now, I think what happened at that time was, yeah, they backed themselves into a corner because nobody expected, when you watch WrestleMania 27, for CM Punk to catch fire the way he did. Go back and look at that. CM Punk was wrestling Rey Mysterio, but he was a part of the Nexus and all that, the new Nexus. Nobody expected him to take off and drop the pipe bomb and become what he became. So you have that. But, let's talk about Roman Reigns here, right? He broke Hogan's record a year ago, most main events in WrestleMania history, with 9. Hogan had 8, So not only Hogan had 8, but he had 5 straight, and Roman is going to break that because he has 5 straight now. This would be 6 because they are, if you count in night 1 and night 2, that's the way, so they count that as 2 main events. I guess you can, So I've always said he's Mr. WrestleMania. When you look back at the history of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns has main evented 10 of 41. You know what I mean? So he having all these main events of WrestleMania. This is his show. This is his WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels called himself that. Let's be real. He called himself that in a promo with Kurt Angle, and everybody's like, oh, I guess he did have the best matches. But Roman Reigns is the reason that he's been selling and putting butts in seats. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make his way to the ring at the end of night 2. We don't know what's going to happen with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. But one may even say, well, if Roman comes out there, that could kind of steal a little bit of shine from if John Cena wins, or if Cody retains, that could steal some shine. I don't know. But, this road to WrestleMania has a lot of twists and turns, but the thing is, it's already set in stone. And, shout out to CM Punk. He's finally going to get his opportunity to main event WrestleMania. Seth Rollins has gone on record and said that he had never been on the marquee. Well, he had that last year, right? But if you really think about it, it was still tied into Cody's story. So even though it was night 1's main event and he was the world heavyweight champion, it was about The Rock. It was about Roman. It was about Cody because the stipulation was setting up for night 2. This is a real marquee because this is for Seth Rollins to main event for himself. Only he's going to benefit from this win. This isn't him helping a buddy out. This is Seth Rollins putting himself on a marquee. We know WrestleMania 35, that was his goal. And I remember reading Becky Lynch's book, and she talked about when he main evented, when she found out she was going to main event, she was so excited to tell him, and he was just kind of like a downer because he wanted the main event WrestleMania as well. And both of them was at the top of their game. Both of them was chasing the world championships, but only one could main event because at WrestleMania 35, the last one with one night, that's what it was. So that was the night Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair made history. So I'm excited about this. Like I said, I think this is going to be an incredible match. I think the storytelling has been good. I do say one thing. USA think they slick. They got Roman Reigns, but Netflix hasn't. So Netflix got John Cena. So I guess that's the trade-off. Of course, we would love to see the stack shows with both of them on there. Unfortunately, we not. But, it is what it is. I guess beggars can't be choosy, right? But I'm interested to know who y'all think is going to win. I'm going to save my predictions for a little bit later. But, this road to WrestleMania seems a little weird. I don't know what it is, right? It's just different. But it feels like we got some clarification with the main event set. Like I said, I love the fact that it was mentioned in the contract signing. So that makes it, it kills the noise. I know we all was like speculating, but this kills the noise. Now we can focus on the show at hand. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jay and Gunther open up night 1 or night 2. You know, my question is, will Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and maybe even Jimmy Uso have that moment? That's what I want to see. And hopefully Jimmy don't cost Jey again, you know, but we'll see about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get ready and close it out here. I wanted to just talk about that because it's official. The main event is set. CM Punk finally reaches the WrestleMania main event. Seth Rollins finally headlines and marquee. He is on the marquee by himself. And Roman Reigns just does what he does, and that's main event WrestleManias. Be sure to follow me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe, share this. Look, I'll never be at a point where I'll say, I won't say that part. And I will always say this. I appreciate each and every one of you for your support. I appreciate you taking the time out to watch the content, to engage with the content, whether you like what I say, whether you don't like what I say. I appreciate your time because time is something you can't get back. Until the next time, folks, so long, everybody.